All right, hey everybody. So give me a second as I set up. I think I'm live across all platforms. I'm getting better at this. Hello, everybody. Hey, Frankie, Jasmine, Belle, Liz, Melissa. Hello, hello. Okay. Oh man, this is working much better than I thought. Okay. So give me a second as I start streaming across all the platforms. So one of my platforms is not working. So let's see what we can do about that. Okay, let me do this. Let me end live. Okay, let's do this. Hi, everybody. So give me a second as I get settled. I am trying something where I'm live across all platforms. It's kind of crazy to me, but I have one platform that I'm trying to make sure I have up. And this will get better over time. I just have this TikTok that has been a little bit difficult for me, but I think I have the right idea. Okay, so that's that. Let's accept it. We are live. Okay, and let me try to go live again. Let's do that. And we will go to this. Hi, everybody. How's everybody doing? 1001, 1002. Okay, perfect. Now I'm live here. Oh, wow. That's crazy. This is absolutely crazy. So I'm good on TikTok. Let me make sure. Okay. And I have to get in it. That's the other issue. I promise you guys this will get better. It's a far cry from yesterday, so. Okay, nice. I'm good there. Now let's Instagram as well. Instagram is my last one. All right, hey everybody. Okay, so I have something special for you guys today. So I'm going to talk about your relationship spectrum in just a little bit. I'll take some Q&A. I'll engage in the chat, and also just I'm trying to see how this live goes. Everybody is like on this live game. You know what I mean? Like all like from churches all the way down to like influencers. Like everybody's doing like a lot of lives. So I'm also praying through and trying to see how to take the direction of, some of this ministry, especially the encouragement side. It's just been, I don't want to say blowing up, but it's been growing, especially on TikTok. Like, I don't know if I had shared earlier, but the quick story with TikTok is that a couple of weeks ago, or no, maybe not even like a month ago, a lot of people have just been in need of longer form content. So this person, and maybe you're watching, maybe not, but just very much a encouraged person, had started taking the YouTube encouragement videos, and again, not in any copyright or malicious way, started taking my YouTube encouragement videos, posting it on TikTok, and it just got like hundreds of thousands of views. And again, I'm not saying like, oh, like I did anything, but it's just the fact that God was using that to be able to bless certain people. And I had no idea. I was like, oh, TikTok is still, and I post on TikTok. I have an account. I post a 1 minute, like 2 minute videos. But the fact that these 8 minute videos are getting like hundreds of thousands of views just goes to show the pattern of like the people that are listening. They want transparency. They want some authentic, longer form content. And so that's why I'm just double checking to make sure I'm good, right? My audio is good. Everybody can see and hear me. Okay, perfect. And I have short form. Oh, I'm sorry. I have vertical form on TikTok and Instagram, and I have long form or this horizontal view in my other YouTube. So let me just double check both. Looking good, looking good. Okay, perfect. So the story with that is that, the person reached out to me and said, hey, like, if it's okay, I'd like to continue posting. I didn't say to stop, but I just said, hey, like, God bless you, and just, said some things. Not bad. But then I thought in the next day I was convicted to start a second TikTok account and just dual post, like not extra work for me. So I dual posted, and lo and behold, within a month, I'm like already near the same amount of followers. And the last four videos have like 500,000 views, like each. So I don't know, like who's watching it from what area, but clearly it's like doing something because the momentum that's happening in the encouragement side has been very blessing, to the degree that it's just encouraging me to do like more. And so again, I'm here. Number one, I know people are reading this like, what's going on, like up above me. So number one, a big announcement that I had shared yesterday and through the videos today is that I'm moving to Korea. God, over the last 3-4 months, has called me. I've been just in deep prayer. Every morning I get up like at 6 a.m. just to pray and to see like the direction that the Lord has, for me. And one of the things in this next season is to go to Korea. And to those that have known me in the last, several years, I have been talking a lot about not only current events and news in the U.S. and praying for the U.S., but also just the global area. And so I think, I don't want to say it's stuff that's going to happen in Korea per se, but to be able to be positioned in that space to see where God leads. 2 of my team members that work for me are in that area, so it's nicer to be able to be in the same time zone as them. And I will also have somebody else, I'm hoping, that can help me in the U.S. as I just ramp up things. So again, I can speak a little bit more on that, but basically I'm praying through the direction of how to like amplify this ministry, whether it's like newsletters, whether it's exclusive content, whether it's some community groups or something like that, because there's clearly a hunger for certain things. I'm not sure that I can do complete like one-on-one like type meetups. I know I've tested that last year, and again, I don't say this in any like arrogant way, but it's just I don't have the time to meet like everybody every like week, like just one-on-one 1 hour. Even if you pay me so much money, I just feel a little bad about that. But it's the same as anybody who has to efficiently use their time. So again, it's just part of how the growth is. So it's a lot to pray through and think about. So just very quickly, I have this givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt link up there. The reason I have that is because in this next season, I know people are partnering with me and just wanting to really help and support me. And so I think it's good from time to time to have something like this, because there is that need of distributing financial kingdom wealth across different groups. And that the same thing happened in the New Testament, giving, and of course that's what tithing for the churches and just being able to effectively distribute. So I used to have it where I'm like, you know what, I'm just going to rely on myself. I make enough. And that was when I had like a job and all that stuff. But clearly the Lord had different plans of me moving away from corporate completely, doing my own business, like personal business, and then being able to do content creation. So again, YouTube is the main source of pure content creation where I get money, like basically all the ads you see before the videos. But I've opted, and I tested this last year, I just, kind of dabbled in it, but doing sponsorships for certain videos just feels a little bit too much for me. Like a lot of the encouragement videos that I have, I don't want to like talk, like in this sort of like sharing moment, like very vulnerable moment or whatever it is, and all of a sudden just be like, you know what, this video is sponsored by insert logo name or brand name. It just feels different from the type of content that I'm doing with regards to just clear, complete, like videos. And I opt not to put ads, especially in my encouragement videos, because it just breaks it up a little bit. However, for the main channel where I talk about news and just different things, and I have like PowerPoint presentations and stuff like that, I leave it there because there's like natural breaks. So that is how I've opted to do that. And going forward, I'm opting hopefully not to take sponsorships as much as possible, especially again with the encouragement videos, because it's just the flow's off. So, and for anyone that knows influencer content creation, this is traditional content creation and influencer type of, the ecosystem. It's you have to like have like 3 or 4 different streams. So I have like merch. The merch store I have is down right now, and I'm like revamping it. There's some issues with the vendor Shopify and just other stuff. So we're peeling and we're trying to get it back up. So in the last 2 months, I haven't been able to gather donations because I have donor box linked in there. So it's tough. So that's why partially I'm doing this givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt, the campaign for a short period until I reach whatever goal that God allows through your help, but also to be more listener supported because, I guess I to be a little bit vulnerable, my pride part of it is like, I want to do it all on my own. Like, I'll be good. Like, I'll make money. I'll work hard, and that's fine. But over time, God has allowed me to soften up and say, you know what? People want to support. They want to help. Won't you allow them? So I'm just like, okay, that's fine. I'll move in that direction. So point being that, again, this is not some like, I'm not going to spend all day like marketing and saying, hey, like go donate, like click above, but more so like, hey, it's here. The link is here. Part of it is doing these lives to kind of fundraise. But I did notice that every time I just do a short video, like a 5-minute video, and I get to the point, I just posted a video like an hour ago. Like people just like, there's more engagement there and people just respond better instead of like waiting an hour and all of this stuff. So anyway, that's the short of the story. More is to come once I settle down in Korea and I just kind of get going there. But I think that I don't want to say obviously my time in the U.S. is done. I am a dual citizen, so I've said this yesterday. So I can comfortably go back and forth and do whatever, is needed. But I feel like I may move more global, especially as if the ministry, the finances take off. And I've been doing my own thing, like in terms of, trying small business and all this other stuff. Some things haven't worked out as well. Some things have worked out better. Made a profit, but also broke even. I'm also bleeding in a sense because I have 2 people on staff that I really want to keep because they're so good. So a lot of my savings, and I come from a strong corporate background. I used to work in, strategy consulting, big tech. I worked at arguably the #1 company, especially in Korea, and got out of that and basically am in a position where I'm like, okay, what entrepreneurial things do I want to do? So just being more personal about sharing about that. But with that being said, I want to welcome everybody. I am streaming across YouTube, 2 YouTube accounts. Oh wait, hold on. Did I not go live? Oh no. Let me see if I went live. No, I'm not going live on Instagram. Okay, let me turn that on. That's okay. So, I thought I was live on Instagram. I was not. So I just turned it on. So hello, Instagram. So I'm basically streaming across. I know people are joining in, so maybe I'll just go through a quick recap. But I'm streaming across 2 accounts on TikTok. Praise the Lord, because TikTok is going crazy in terms of, not the live. I have only a few people in the live here, but thank you for being here. I have 2 TikTok accounts. I have an Instagram, and then I have my, hello everybody, I have the staple YouTube channels. So again, as you can see from above here, this is day 2 of 4 days. I am trying to do some Q&A. I'm going to do some encouragement. I've got the setup now better. So my vertical view is better. My horizontal on YouTube is good. And then I will just kind of briefly explain some personal things as I've been, trying to allow the donations and all that to come, because my main site is down now, and so I've opted to do this campaign, just like how I've always grown up like just like when I'm driving, this is like in high school and stuff, and in some part college, driving and listening to the radio like K-Love and stuff like that. And once a year they would always come up and they would do this big campaign. Like they'd be like, hey, donate, we're listener supported, we don't do ads and all that. And it was great because they were able to be fully funded and God provided. But over time, as I saw that, I was like, you know what, that really does work in some sense. So again, I've put up PayPal, Zelle. I know some people are international and just other methods, and people send even physical checks and all of that. But that website is down, so I don't have all of that info up there. But regardless, I want to try to keep it open as much as possible. And Give, Send, Go has many options to do that. But I figured, you know what, just shamelessly put myself out there and just be willing to accept what comes in. And hopefully the goal is that as I get more seed funding and stuff like that, I can do things with my impact and influence in the business space. And I've had different things that I'm working through now, some things that haven't worked out as well, that I will have to revisit, and just many other things. But regardless, that's why this is up there. I'm making a big move to Korea, and I'll be going at the end of this week. And I'm hoping that and again, if you click the link, there's details of what it would be like, batch spent on, but the hope is. I have 2 on staff that I'm trying to continue to just pay over the last several. They've worked for me for like 2 years, so they do things like they'll do there's a lot of behind the scenes work. Like, it's hard to just do like 3 videos a day. So right now I post a short video, a long video, and then another long video across like Rumble and YouTube. So all of that is some work, as well as other stuff like side business and just other like entrepreneurial stuff. So anyway, need help with that. Caleb is a radio station, so it's been, and everybody listens like to Spotify and YouTube nowadays, and maybe Apple Music, but Caleb was just one of the stations that I used to listen to back in the day. So anyway, so that's that. So what I want to do is I want to do some encouragement. I want to do a little bit Q&A, and I'm just monitoring all the chats as much as I can, because I see that I didn't go live on Instagram until recently. So welcome to anyone on Instagram. Otherwise, I see both channels on YouTube, and I have this phone here, and then I like have another like way to look at it. So I think that will help. So with that being said, how's everybody? Everyone's doing well? This live format feels more personable, right? Like authentic over the last couple of streams. So I think it's been helpful. And feel free, I'm monitoring, and I'll try to like be discerning about how like asking or answering certain questions. But I do want to give just a word of encouragement, because I know a lot of people come for encouragement. They come to see like, who's this person? Can I get to know this person a little bit better and all that? So what I decided is that I don't want to say what I'm struggling with, but what I've been a little bit again, there's a lot of discernment involved. Like, I don't want to say sensitivity, but even as I do this, like this fundraiser, right, or just telling people like my future plans and all that stuff, there's still a sense of like me trying to like, I don't want to say overthink things, but be very careful and discerning. So I'm at a point in life where, being online for a while, I always thought I was just going to serve quietly in church. And yes, I do have a Venmo. I'm sorry. It's also linked in the description below. So for YouTube, you can see that. So I've always thought I was going to be this. I used to serve like with worship team in the back. I'm not even on stage, but I used to like with multiple churches, like in the back, like the sound guy. So I was like so happy doing that and just being faithful with that. But then when the Lord called me to YouTube, I was like, that's crazy. Like, how am I going to get on camera and do things? It'd just be so awkward, because I'm just probably an odd guy. And so when things took off, I was just so surprised. And this was like, 4 years ago. And steadily, it's been up and down in some sense, but a lot of the staple of what I've done from the very, very beginning was words of encouragement and exhortation. Some of the other stuff I talk about, like eschatology, end times, or interpretation of political or just the seasons, like that can be a bit controversial. Like, it could be like borderline conspiracy. It could be like, how do you know that? Or that's your interpretation and all that stuff, right? Like deeming something being the spirit of the Antichrist or a Jezebel spirit, or calling out certain things. That kind of stuff has always been a little bit iffy for many people, but for the bread and butter of what I've done in the last 4 years, and those that know from the beginning know, but I've been just like trying to encourage people and just be like, hey, look, I've gone through certain things, and I would love for you to just like listen or to hear my perspective. And I don't ever want to say it in like a preachy, like obviously like looking down perspective. And I'm not called to be, I don't know, some people call me like, oh, Pastor Chris, Pastor. I'm not a pastor. I'm not like formally theologically like trained in any way, gone to seminary or all of that. But I feel more called to be a brother in Christ, a watchman in some sense, to interpret and see the times, but also just exhort and just encourage people. So I have a knack for structured, because I come from like a consulting background and just with some of my education, you can call it like a pseudo business, like MBA type mentality. I always see things from this uh, like I'll have PowerPoint slides and different things. I'm going to show you guys something here today, but just seeing it in that structured way, as opposed to being a very like a Bible exegesis like interpretation, like a traditional teacher and pastor. And so because of that, a lot of people have been more encouraged by the observational things that I've noticed and turning that into like a support message. So I'll do that today as well, like in a second. So to give you guys a word of encouragement. And one of the biggest things I want to see from a lot of people is just breaking through and getting to the next level to be able to fulfill your calling, your purpose, and to be able to navigate the world. Because a lot of us were not only sabotaging ourselves, like shooting ourselves in the foot, but we're also being influenced too much by the world, right? There's a balance where you have to obviously, humble yourself, not be arrogant, and not be blinded by your fleshly ways, but also because there's so much like spiritual battle, like, people condemning you or putting you down or saying things that might sound good, but it's like 1% tainted in a fleshly way. It's like affecting us too much. And so much so that some of us like suppress and don't step up to our calling. And this is where this generation, with all the internet, with all of churches and the exposure, whether it's like a good church or whether it's, a hurt church, a pharisaical church, the different types of churches, we're all getting too much of this like impact and influence. And it's like getting us to move in the wrong direction or kind of in the right direction, but deviating off course and all that stuff. So again, that's just the short of that. Again, if you're joining me, I'm doing a 4-day live. So this is day 2. I have 2 more days. I am going to Korea at the end of this week, moving there. I was already there recently to finalize some things. So it'll just be a transition there. And so, again, I'm not quite sure. I have a home base here, family, friends, and all that. But also, I have family, friends over there. So it'll just be, I don't want to say seamless, but it'll be a little bit different than what I've been used to being here in the U.S. So, and as a part of that, I've been trying to tell people that have not been able to access DonorBox and chrisyoontstore.com and just the giving that I have opted to just do a campaign, givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt for the next, few days. And then however far it goes, that's how, I'll be able to, do that. And so a lot of people also quietly donate. So thank you for that. Even in the last couple of days, PayPal, Venmo, Zelle. I have the links in the YouTube descriptions. I've also had it in my website, but it's down now. Hopefully it'll come back up. But I've been trying to advocate for that. So I had a video up across all of my platforms, and hopefully, you guys can kind of hear that. It's a 5-minute, like those do better, like get to the point, 5 minutes and blah, blah, blah. You could also click the link and just read a little bit about the transparency of the hope I have in what I'll use the funds for. So again, so that's that. So I just want to give you guys this a word of encouragement because I love to share when it impacts me in some way. One of the things that is from a person who is has never had like the stage of just thousands and hundreds of thousands of views and people. One of the things that I've always been self-conscious about is image perception and balancing that with how you like take action. Because as I said just a few minutes ago, so many of us are worried about people. So many of us are looking at like, what should we do? Is the right thing? If my pastor tells me this, like, should I do it or not do it? Should I? And there's so much of this that I've just come to realize, and the way I encourage people is you've got to get right with the Lord. And the only thing you can ever do is just have a clean, good relationship with the Lord, that the Holy Spirit leads you. You are in tune with Him. You are in prayer. And these things obviously are obvious, but it just goes to show how much of an impact that the influence of the world has on us. And I'm not saying don't take accountability. I'm not saying don't take good, judgment from people, but everybody has an opinion. Coming from a person over the last 4 years where I've literally had all types of things, all types of people just say various things, it's all the more where I have to discern the information coming in. And I've been better prepared because of my work in consulting. Some of the work I did in consulting was very high level, like with big companies, executives, and I've just had like input after input, like surveys, input, like meeting after, and you just get everything. Like everything is in your brain, and you're like, what do I do? What's the best decision? Should we, spend money, cut money? Should we fire them? Should we hire them? Should we, invest in this technology or that? Like there's just so many decisions, and so because of that, you have the one biggest thing you've got to have is just be rooted in the Word, in prayer, and just be able to navigate how you're growing, being sanctified, and your weaknesses, and acknowledge that, but also just be steady, courageous, bold, and just continue moving forward. I know that so many of us, when we're younger in our faith and we're not as mature, or we feel that there's problems, you're dealing with sin and all that stuff, it's going to impact us to the degree that it's a sensitive thing. Like you're sensitive, you're self-conscious, and you would rather just opt not to put yourself out there and all that stuff. But this is where this next generation, and not even next generation, like just this day and age, whether you're older or younger, it doesn't matter. You've got to be able to kind of break through that barrier and step out. And so what I want to do is I want to show, and again, I'm like trying to talk while skimming some comments. So thank you guys. Wish the best. That's a lot of encouragement I'm seeing here through some of the comments. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to share what I had made a while back. But again, this is not set in stone, but this is it just makes the point. So hopefully this shares. So man, that is smooth, huh? So I have 2 different views. Oh man, I'm looking at it. I'm so happy. So I have a long form view, a horizontal view, and a vertical view. So if you look here, this is your relationship spectrum. And again, don't be like fixated on the words. And this is the type of stuff I used to do like as a consultant, but I'm going to turn this into a word of encouragement. Whenever you're going out there and doing anything for the Lord, right? It doesn't matter if you're like Jesus Christ, and he had a big following, a lot of people knew him, or if you're an influencer like myself and you have like hundreds of thousands of people that have passed through what whether you're a high-level celebrity, a politician, it doesn't matter like the degree. You may even be as unknown as, maybe 1 or 2 people. You might be in a ministry in your church. It doesn't like matter, but you're going to have this, what I call the scale of support and opposition. And it's like a bell curve, okay? And I'm going to talk about this a little bit more like with kind of each of them. But the thing that you've got to realize is that most people in your life, they're going to be in this middle sort of like bump. Like the majority of people are going to see what you do, and they're going to be like very indifferent. They're going to be indifferent, or they're going to be like, slightly optimistic or slightly pessimistic. And by that, I mean like they'll support you. They will, say, oh yeah, that's fine. Or they don't really like care, and they're just like, oh, you go and do it. So this is for anything you do. Like literally, if you have a calling, a mission, a ministry, if you say a word, if you take a position or a stance, whatever you end up doing, like there's always going to be this sort of middle group of people. Like, yeah, I'm indifferent. Like, do what you got to do. And this could be Christian, non-Christian, doesn't matter. And so for the most part, when you're living in this area, like you're not too affected. Like you're just like, okay, I see it. Like that just makes sense. People just going about their business. But if you move into some of like the more extremities, the first and second standard deviation, if you want to talk about that with regards to statistics, like less and less people, there's going to be less and less people in each of these things. So that's how you should see this bell curve. There's going to be descent, and to the left is negative, and to the right is like more positive. So just think of it more as like it's more and more extreme. So you have dissenters, you have supporters on either side of like this. So when you have a supporter, it's like they're basically almost like fully there. Like they're like, okay, like whatever you do, we like you, we support you, and they may help you financially, they may give you advice, they may like say, hey, I have some situation that's the same thing, and it's not really that bad. Dissenters are like, hey, I respectfully disagree. I think that you're there might be some holes here, and just they give you your opinion. So it could actually be useful and good, or it could be just totally like not like holy or whatever it is. So this is where you start to like discern like, oh man, like is what I'm doing, fleshly, bad, sinful, or whatnot, or like the right decision, or not. And this is if you're a little bit weaker in your foundation with being convicted by the Lord and your obedience to Him. So I always say, like, man, if you're solid with the Lord and you know your calling, you know what you've got to do, there are certain things that are negotiable. There's certain things like it doesn't make sense. Like you do something and so many people are like, you know what, that's not how you become a pastor. That's not how you do that ministry. But again, God works in crazy ways to get you to a certain path, to get you through school, to get you that job, to get that relationship. That's how whether you dated for a month or you dated for, 10 years, like you got to marriage. And for someone that says, their opinion of the timeline or the approach or the process, a lot of it becomes opinion. A lot of it becomes all of that. And so that's why you have to be rooted to be like, you know what, this is my story. This is what God has done. And this is what I'm going to be very adamant about in completing. And where a lot of people stumble, which, I hope, and this is what I encourage people, is that you've got to be able to like know yourself in the Lord. You got to have a strong identity in the Lord such that you're not swayed in this area, because the dissenters, they're not going to come at you like haters, as in like, they're not going to come at you and just like start swinging, and they're going to be like, and it's just obviously like they're in their flesh and they're like, like anger is overwhelming them. It's like not like that. Oftentimes it sounds good. Oftentimes it's very reasonable, very logical. But because you're not strong enough, and I'm just saying like hypothetically, if you're not strong enough, you're going to either like step away from it, and you're going to be like, oh no, I don't want this. Like, it's just too much for me. Or you're going to make the wrong decision and either go this way or the other way. But if you're rooted in the Lord, you're going to continue doing what it is that you're doing. Like, yeah, get married 1 month into dating. Like, if that is what God is calling you to do, like, hey, go and take that job at that next, that city, whatever it is. This is where you can, and this is where I encourage a lot of people with some of my videos. I just didn't structure it. Like, I didn't show a PowerPoint and just say, hey, you're here. This is where, this is how you've got to see the balance of discernment with you like going hard at what the Lord is calling you to do. So from there, what you have, and this is the scale of support and opposition, you're going to have, and this is where it just kind of starts getting crazy real quick. You're going to have people that are intercessors that are really praying for you, really helping. And again, there's like other words you can put in here. Supporters, like just people that you don't even know, like love you and want to help you, and they're praying for you. Not everybody that is a prayer warrior or an intercessor, they're not going to come up to you like every day and be like, hey, I prayed for you. Like, that just sounds prideful and arrogant. But they are out there. Like, and I'm very thankful for some of you guys that have prayed for me like on the daily, like for years and years. Like, I don't fully know that, and I don't have to, but God sees it. It's seeds being planted. And in heaven, when I go there and look back, I'll probably be like, wow, like you did that for me, like 30 minutes a day. That's great. Like, that's great. You don't even like know me personally, but there's this reciprocation of spiritual, like this aura going around. So that's why you'll have true intercessors, like people that will pray for you, help you in the spiritual realm. And then you'll have hexers. So again, this is where people, in spiritual like language, people don't really know this as much because it just sounds crazy. But there are literally like witchcraft, like spellcasters. There's like people out there that are literally trying to curse you. And this is where it just gets crazy, because you think that's just some kind of cuckoo talk, but it's literally happening all the time. Like, whether you're, pure like anti like God and you're doing it unintentionally, like you're like, I hope, even words like I hope and I wish that doesn't happen for you, or they just start saying things that are in opposition to what you're doing. Like, those are like word cursors. Those are like the hexers, and these people exist. And whether they curse you or whether they do, various things, they're just gonna be out there. Okay. And then intercessors, of course, the opposite, where it's just basically like prayer warriors, people that will actually intercede for you. And then this is where you get a lot of people, by the way, let me say it like this. Not everybody will have these, like to the degree that if you're more known, it's a little bit like a numbers game too. Like if you have like two or three people in your life that know what you're doing fully, you may just be operating here, and then by random statistical chance, you might have like an intercessor or like a hater or whatnot. But to get to this level, like a hater and an adorer. So I say this from experience, but there are people that are haters in my life. Like they always come in to either, my email or DMs, like, like, what is it, like chat, like whatever it is. And again, I may even have monitoring spirits that are just hovering. Like they may not comment, but they're always there, and they're just gnashing their teeth. And again, I'm not saying I'm some special guy. It's just that when the numbers come up, and there's like 100,000 people, you have like, I think I have like across all my platforms now, like closing in on 500,000 followers across both TikToks, across both Instagram, the two YouTube, Rumble. I don't post on X or Twitter, but just across all these things. And to have that by a statistics numbers game, you're going to have like big haters. And again, I'm not losing sleep at night. It's just that this is what happens when you start having more accessibility, more public awareness of what you have. And these haters will do a lot of things to you. Like they will try to, get you, like they'll call people or like message people that like may support, or just if you're doing collaborations, they'll try to like, smear you and just various things. And it's just like to those that don't have, I don't want to say thick skin, but just the tenacity to handle this, it's going to allow people to, you're going to lose sleep over it. And so I'm saying this for many of you, and I know many of you watching are future, like you're going to get big in some sense, whether it's the quality or the quantity, whether it's people, whatever it is. And you're going to, whether it's a church and you have like 1,000 people, whether it's like some ministry and you have like, 30 people, at some point you're going to have so much crazy drama with some haters and some people that if you like listen, like really like remember what I'm saying here, because later on, don't be surprised when this happens. Like if you're sitting there, you're like, oh my goodness, like I thought I was doing the right thing for you, Lord. Like why is this happening? Like if you think about what Jesus Christ went through, he literally had all of this. And let me say, like, let me just quickly go to assailant. Assailant is like, they want to murder you. Like assailants, they want to hurt you. They want to take you out. They want to harm you. Like it sounds extreme, but you got to literally think about what Jesus went through. Jesus, they wanted to murder this guy. And we're talking about like stoning him from like the good Pharisees, like these Sadducees. Literally, if you're at a point in life where you're doing something big for the Lord and you're doing certain things, again, I don't want to get into politics, but certain politicians, certain pastoral people, they have hitmen on them. Like if they got a chance, they would take him out. I want to assassinate this guy. That's how crazy it is for certain people. Thankfully, I'm not here. Like there's nobody that's going to take my life. It's like not worth. Like do you want to go to prison over this dude who has, 6-figure like followers? Like no one's going to like do that. But there's definitely haters. Like they're just always in the DMs and like the comments and all of that, right? For me, at least. You may not necessarily have this degree, but the forewarning I'm trying to say for many of you that are going into bigger responsibilities, bigger stewardships is get ready for this. Get ready for just a crazy like time, whether it's drama, whether it's like somebody's trying to get between you and your family, somebody's trying to get between you and your employer, somebody's trying to get between you and some other ministry or some investment, whatever it is. It's always going to be there. And again, I'm not trying to scare you. I'm literally just saying biblically, as Jesus and as the Bible says, like you will be persecuted for my name's sake. You will have this opposition. Like it's not going to be some easy road where you think like, oh, everything. I mean, again, God loves you. He'll provide for you. You will be in good hands, but you will have this opposition. So I'm saying that it's very rare, but as you move up, whether in numbers or in quantity or in influence or in power, in riches, like you will have this. And the same goes for the other side. If you're in a position where, and again, I'm not saying like I'm some like celebrity, like, like K-drama, like Korean guy that is like hot and all. Like, I'm not saying that, but I definitely have people that message me all the time. Like, hey, like, like just saying crazy things like they want to marry me and all this stuff. And again, there's some bots like that are doing that, but there's certain people, and again, I'm not saying this in any arrogant way. There's people that literally are just going to adore you, um, and borderline crossing into this obsessive, which is not healthy. Like for some people, it's an addiction in some sense. And again, I don't know the details of what some of the what goes on for some of these people, but you will have that. Like, and this happens for everybody. A celebrity, right? Anybody that you don't even have to be physically attractive. Like you have something that's of value, and people just obsess over you. And again, I'm not saying that those that always listen to me and are always there to support me. I'm not saying you're one of these people. Like you could literally be a supporter and watch all my videos. I'm talking about people that in their heart of hearts, they're just something is going on in some sense mentally, and the fact that all these DMs, these emails, all these things are being sent, and they may even stalk you like physically, like look for you, like be in the same space as you, and try to like cross paths with you. It's just you'll have that. And again, I'm not at the obsessive. I don't have somebody like out my window like waiting to like what is it, kidnap me or something like that. And I'm not even saying that I have somebody that is completely like every day, but I've had people super adorers, maybe not necessarily obsessive, maybe one or two or a few. Again, I'm not trying to expose or do anything, but what I'm saying, the concept of when you start doing more things, you could also, like, even if you don't have a lot of people or the numbers, like, even if you have a small group, like 5, 10, 15 people that know what you're doing, you could have this obsessive person, like, just come out of nowhere. Like, it's a little bit of a numbers game. Like, you'll have the bell curve, but somehow you might be unlucky and you may have somebody that's hating you, like against you. You may have somebody that's super obsessed over you, just wants to stalk you. Like you can have like 2 or 3 supporters and all that, but you get the picture, right? It's just like this bell curve. And the more you do something, you're going to have this. So don't sit there like in the future, or if this is already happening to you, like surprised by this, because again, even Jesus had that. And maybe arguably I could say that Jesus is the only person you'd be super obsessed over and love him. But if you're obsessed in a different way, like, I don't know, maybe people thought he was handsome and just wanted to marry him, like in the time that he was alive. But really, you have to see him as Lord and Savior, as opposed to like some husband material. Because again, I don't know. Again, I'm kind of speaking in a weird, like trying to explain that for Christ, which sounds weird, but you get the picture, because Christ went through all of this. Like he had all of this happen. He had people that just didn't care, like they didn't want to hear the gospel. And then he had people that just, loved him and adored him. And in some senses, of course, this side is good. And then it kind of, I guess it turns into a not so good thing, like in this obsessive. I guess you got to check your heart, right? So again, what I'm saying is that there is this expectation that as you get more influence or upgrade or just do things and put yourself out there. Again, this is not just social media. It's not just public. You're in front of the crowd at church. It's just whenever people witness you doing something, whether in the quiet place, a secret place, or whether it's very public out in front of people. So I'm just saying that as information, anecdotally, but also just as a word of encouragement. Be ready for some of these things, but be able to handle it. But more importantly, you've got to stand your ground for certain things, but also you don't want to be, it's okay to cut things. I've always said before, like, you got to cut things out in your life, whether it's completely blocking somebody. Like, you're not going to be bogus blocking somebody. You're not going to be bogus, like, moving away from somebody just because they're in your life, because they have to be your family, right? Even Jesus talks about, again, I don't want to do a sermon on this, but hating your mother, father, like being able to step away from that to follow Christ. And so in some sense, it's the heart behind it, as well as what it's going to do that distracts you or impacts you from your commitment and your life, your relationship with Christ. So again, that's what I wanted to kind of like address for this relationship spectrum. I'm not going to always do like PowerPoint slides, guys. Like, don't worry. It's like, for some people, it's kind of like, what is that? It's a little boring and all that. But the point here is being ready and understanding this stuff. So I have this observational kind of purview of the world like this, like all over, like all this stuff, like just and you can see part of it as it comes out when I explain on, social media and some of the videos without a PowerPoint that's needed. But I just wanted to at least talk about this because I'm sort of going through some of this and I'm just kind of reminded of it. But this is just always there. It's always kind of just lingering and whatnot. So let me change back to this. And to those that are coming in a little bit later, welcome. Thank you for the support. I have up here this link, givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt. Many people have supported and helped me. But my website, the main website I have, is down right now, chrisyoontstore.com. And there may be a lot of change coming actually in this in between sort of like a limbo period. So I'm going through an appeal process and just trying to get certain things back up because, as you know, from a couple months ago, I'm in with the vendors I have, like my payment vendors, processors, merchant processors. There's just kind of been this hold, like a 4-month hold. So it's been a little bit tough trying to get, payment and just all of this to be working correctly. So in lieu of that, and with the big announcement I have of God calling me back to Korea and just living there for a bit, I've decided to do this, the givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt campaign. I could have done a GoFundMe and just other stuff, but I think it's just good to have it singular and just have one. If you have the time and if you're able to, support, and again, just don't feel pressured. I always put it out there for those that want to give and have the means to give. Do that. But even if you have just, I think the minimum is $5. They like have it where it's like marked as minimum maximum. So the minimum is $5. But I'll leave you that up there. But I'm going to be doing a 2 or 4 day live, 2 more days to sort of just kind of interact, share something, and just kind of promote this. I realize that doing a single video like for a couple minutes is a better hit rate than doing this. But either way, it's still a value. So let me just go through some of these comments across. Again, I'm live right now on Instagram, simultaneously on 2 YouTube channels and 2 TikTok channels. The TikTok I'm so encouraged and blessed by. Some days I get like 2,000-3,000 new followers a day, which is crazy to me. The last 4 videos, or minus today's, but I think the one before that, the last 4 have gotten like 500,000 views each, and it's just crazy to me how that's worked out. But praise the Lord. And again, it goes up and down. I'm not here to say like it's going to just be 500,000 every time. It goes up and down. I've had 500,000 views on YouTube before. It's been a while, but it's just the way it goes. But if I can reach one person and by God's grace, him using me, I'm happy with that. I've always humbled myself to be like, Lord, if you have one view, one person, that's awesome. So I'm very thankful for that. So I wanted to thank you guys for your support and just put this shamelessly again up here. I don't want to do this all the time. I'm just doing this for 4 days, and then I'll have just once my website is back up, I will have that just as a staple in the links below. So again, a lot of people do this. Obviously you have churches, you have weekly that, you tithe and stuff, but I'm always blessed by the radio stations like 10 years ago. Maybe they still do it today, but the Christian radio stations that don't want to take sponsorship from people, and what they end up doing is they are listener supported. So I'm trying to be more listener supported, but also self-sustaining once certain businesses that I'm trying to like start up like hit and get more successful. So the last year and a half has been a very good journey for me to learn and to grow with, TikTok, like advertising, Facebook ads, with, YouTube, and just all that stuff. So yes, K-Love is the station that I think of. Like once a year, they do this big campaign and they shamelessly plug like after basically every song, like if you're willing to give, like please give. And I was like, very encouraged by that. And so I'm one where if you think about it from a traditional like content creator ecosystem perspective or influencer perspective, I don't want to, yes, and I think Air One too. Air One and Caleb. That was the other one I was thinking about. Thanks, Jess. So over what was I about to say? You're right. So I am one where I don't want to take on sponsorships as much. And just to be transparent with you guys, a lot of my money that when I do social media, and this is just a general content creator like ecosystem thing, a lot of money will come from like YouTube ads, like Instagram and like TikTok, unless you get like millions of views. Like you won't get that much. You won't get as much as what YouTube gives. And YouTube, in a pie chart or a like a ratio of what people make as a content creator, you will get like less than half from the YouTube ads, and those are the ads you see before the video. I opted to leave those on because it does make quite a bit, and I want to rely on that rather than other things. But one thing that is a big share of the pie that a lot of content creators have is the sponsorships. So if you ever see a video and then halfway through or in the beginning or the end, someone says, this video is sponsored by blah, 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 and they do like a 30-second or a 1-minute segment. Last year, I did entertain that for a few companies, but that was on my main channel, which was more appropriate because I had like slides like this and sharing, and I would do clips and news clips and just different and like talk through it. But my encouragement channel is a straight like 8-minute like monologue, and it would be super weird to be like, like you say something and then you're like, and some testimony, and then you go, oh, by the way, this video is sponsored by, whatever, and it's like it just cuts the flow, and it's just kind of weird. So I just can't do that, So, and that sponsorship that I've opted to not entertain. And guys, I get like weekly messages. Some are spam, but a lot of it is just like real things, like real companies that. And again, if you're one of the like reps for the companies, don't feel like offended. I just get a lot, and of course, the industry. Like not everyone's just going to respond to everything, but it's hard for me because I don't want to accept that, and that's a lot of money on the table in some sense, even with the smaller amount of views I have. So I opted not to do that. So, with that being said, like someone is saying, my sponsor is you guys. So, basically, off and on, I'll try to do this to gather support, and I'll always leave open my website. But the website is down, so that's the problem. So, anyway, here is the givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt. After the live, if you want, you can go take a look there. I know some people are watching simultaneously, so they want to wait till after it's done. But so that's that. So let me take a quick sip and check this out. I came prepared because there are certain things where when you put a drink or something up and it's like there's a logo, you could either get into some trouble or it just promotes certain things. So I have this insulator cup that covers you don't know what I might be drinking. So I have it like that. So anyway. Let me look across some of these. Hey, this TikTok thing is crazy. People are giving gifts and people are getting upgraded. I don't know. I really don't know what this is. All kinds of things are happening on TikTok. There's these roses people give, and there's people get upgraded, and there's these messages that come up across both of my TikTok accounts. So congrats to whatever that means. And Instagram is a little bit quiet, but I'm still seeing, some of the comments. So thank you for coming and supporting. So thank you guys. I started the live on TikTok a little bit late, so hopefully you got at least some part of it. So people come in and out for the Instagram. Instagram, it's a little bit tougher because the engagement, I think, is not as much like YouTube and TikTok, but it is what it is. Want to at least spread to other platforms. All right, so with that being said, let me just go through and see if there are certain comments I want to revisit in some of these chats. So I have 5 different platforms open that I'm looking at. And I'm very happy I got this fixed. Yesterday when I did the live, I had this small, tiny, wide, horizontal view, 16:9 view on the TikTok and Instagram. But this one, I have it full. It's truncated, this part. If you're watching on YouTube, it's this part is truncated. So I'm happy that worked out. All right, let me look. So I have, okay, so to those that are asking about PayPal and Venmo and Zelle, I have that also. How do I do this? Okay, maybe I don't want people to be directed to, oh, you know what? Let me do it like this. You know what? Let me do this. This is going to be interesting. Let me see if this works. I'm going to just type it in here, and hopefully Okay, let me do this. I have an idea. I think, okay, let me go into one of these lives to see if, okay, hopefully, okay, there might be an echo for a second. Oh no, okay, we're good. So let me try to look on YouTube. Okay, yep, it's here on YouTube in the description. Let me try to add this like this. Oh, that worked. Okay, hold on. It's covering, my head is covering it. See up here? Let me do it like this. Yeah, that works. Okay, let me add that here for a lot of people asking. So Venmo is chrisyoonyt. That's the username. You just type that and you can just send it to there. And that's me. And then Zelle is this email. So this is a public email, guys. I have it on my YouTube channel. People email all the time. So chrisyoonyt@gmail.com. But I don't get to everybody or everything, guys. I'm so sorry. That is one of the plans I'm hoping to have. Just to be transparent, like I was just speaking to somebody about this close person, and one of the things that eventually I hope my team can do is go through a lot of comments. Like ideally, I'd love to go through all the comments, all the emails, and just like filter and either me respond or other people respond. In the future, by the way, guys, I'm going to have very soon like an email list. I know people want updates and various things too. So, I'll probably have that and just other things, whether it's like a Patreon type thing, a membership type thing to get exclusive content. I know those things do well, and people are looking for that, and it's not for everybody, but the smaller core few. So anyway, I have the Zelle and Venmo up. Oh, Zelle and PayPal. Actually, you know what? Let me think. I think PayPal also. Okay, let me check something here. I think I have something in PayPal too. Yep, I think so. Here we go. So this is PayPal. You have to go to this link. Oh man, because I know PayPal is a big thing in some countries. Okay, let me just add this too. Oh, okay, now it's just, I gotta go down more. So I'll just leave this up for a second. Let me move it up. Okay, and then this. Let me move this up. Okay, let me see if this, no, I gotta move this down because for the TikTok and the Instagram, I gotta move it down because all these like windows are covering, oh man, what are all these there's all these badges and stuff across the top of the TikTok here, but hopefully you can see it. So anyway, so I don't want to just be, beat a dead horse and just kind of do this, but I want to at least do it temporarily until things pick up a bit. So again, the plan is that I'm leaving for Korea this weekend, and if you click the link in the givesendgo.com/chrisyoon, I have, a blurb, and you can kind of read that, but it just outlines what it would be used for. A lot of it is going to go towards not only me in transition, but just retaining my staff, to the two people that I have that work for me. And at some point, I'm going to be building more of a structured thing, whether it's more content or exclusive stuff, or whether it's towards the business side of things. But these people are helping me. They're believers. They've really helped me over the last couple of years. And a lot of the content creation, especially in the shorts, the captions, and just some of these stuff, it's very hard to do by myself. It's draining, And like I said, like with comments or other things, just being able to like navigate that, it's something that I have to take more seriously as I get more resources and staff. So that's part of the funding of where it's going to go to help me with the future. So let me move this up a little bit more. Okay. So thank you guys for the support and just everything. I'm hoping to do more tailored content. Now, I know I share a lot on encouragement and just some of the shorts of what I kind of go through and as the Lord leads, but there's also a need for certain topics. I know people are struggling with purpose, discernment, and moving in towards this next phase because, again, we're living in such a divisive and just like impression-oriented society. And by impression, I mean like people have an impression of you, like they think you're this or that. And because of social media, because of the limited amount of information, the information overload we have, all of us are subject to being a little sensitive to it, trying to navigate like that. And I've said before in many videos that you've got to just like let that go and do what the Lord is leading you to do. Because even Christ, when he's coming through the towns, he has some impression, like, some guy who just didn't like what he was doing, splitting bread and giving it for free to people. He said a rumor, and then the people around him thought, oh, they didn't have a favorable view, like, and they didn't have a complete like picture of who Christ is. Like they just thought the 2% of what they thought they knew from what they heard. And the same is happening with all of us. It happens with me too. Some people, they come upon one video and they're like, I don't like the way that he said that, and they just X me. They just, say, and again, it's not that I deserve like my time for like their time for me, but they'll see one video or they'll see how I do something and they'll be like, nope, this guy's, fair, like a false teacher or whatever it is. And they'll just like move on. And the same happens with Christ. The same happens with you. And so if this is happening with you, I've always wanted to encourage people with the idea that, and this goes back to the relationship spectrum, you got to be able to like move past this and do as the Lord is leading you to. Now it's not good if you're not, led by the Lord and you think you know something, but you're like not as mature to really discern something, and you just go off of something that is your own flesh, and then that becomes a different type of trouble. But the point here is that for many of us, a vast majority of us that are able to like listen to this, like you're not going to listen to like this type of like, live or the videos I have if you don't have a certain amount of hunger to begin with. Like you really want to be set apart, you really want to be a chosen child of God, you really want to get to the next level, and this is just all like supplementary material. I know many of you have your own prayer life, your own word life, like reading the word, and just all this stuff, your own ministry, your church, and you're not gonna like watch this over like some super popular, I don't know, like Mr. Beast video or something like that. Like you're here because you have some sense of like spiritual desire to move forward. And if you're in that space, then you're already like in the right direction. It's just that you just want supplemental like inspiration and encouragement from fellow believers like myself that's sharing my own sort of like observations and like learnings, lessons learned and all that stuff. So that's how I know some of you guys are in the right like audience, like target audience. So with that being said, like you guys are hungry, you guys want to do things for the Lord, and I know that, for many of you, and again, I have like, a certain percentage of people that are just the Pharisee monitoring spirit or the haters, especially like in the relationship spectrum, like they're just there. And, to many of you, I've called you guys out to, you've got to really like accept the Lord as like Christ as your Lord and Savior, and really consider what that means for your life, as opposed to just constantly hating. And so this is a small percentage. They're always there. But to the vast majority of you that are desiring more from the Lord and to grow and all that, like continue going and continue like doing things on your own as you have your own word life. And I've also encouraged people about being careful with church, with the influences. And again, I'm not saying anything bad about church, but there's a lot of negative influence, right, in the world. We all know that false, wolves in sheep's clothing, and just churches not being led by the Lord and all that stuff. So be very careful how you interact, because there's a whole slew of different types of people and believers and Christians out there. Even atheists know that not every Christian is the same. So for many of you that are here, you're encouraged. You have something more for you. You know that times are changing. You know that this next year is going to be an amazing year. Like continue going, and it's going to be good. And I'll try to do more of this. Like these videos are not for the faint of heart. It's not like if you want to learn about like what faith means and what love is. And again, I'm not saying it in any like belittling way. Like go look up the basics of what the gospel message is. Like I'm not in a continuous like evangelistic mode of sharing the basic gospel message. This is for a lot of you guys that are trying to up your game and really get accountability for something more. Oh no, my encouragement live just suddenly ended for some reason. Let me see what's going on here. Oh, due to inactivity. Okay, hold on. Oh, what does that mean? Okay, so I have inactivity. Oh, geez. Okay. So I've got to, okay, let me see if I can, okay, this is something that I've got to be aware of. When you're not active for a long time on TikTok, it will kind of shut down. Okay, so whatever that means, I've got to learn what that means later. Okay, so one of my streams just shut down. Okay, so I don't know if people will come back or not, but so yeah. So with that being said, it might be a good time to kind of wrap things up for today. I'm gonna do a live hopefully tomorrow morning. I don't want to make a big promise, but I think it will happen 9 or 10 a.m. The reason I didn't go live early this morning was because I was like all of the vertical view. I was like for 2 hours trying to figure all this out. Now it's like fine. So I'm very happy about that. So I can just start it up and keep going. So that's good. And then also I will do 2 more days of these lives before I leave. And hopefully with your guys' support and just all of that. And again, don't feel pressured, but I have all these things listed here if you are just joining. I'm doing what the Christian radio stations are doing. Once a blue moon, trying to get the support. The hope I have is excuse me, I'm trying to burp or something here. So the hope is that one day, as I'm making money in my own businesses, that I can be self-sustaining, but I'll still have these up in my bios and all that, because there's so many people that just always ask about that. How can I support you? And they have a surplus, and it's something that has been a pride issue for me. If I'm being honest, I just said this an hour ago, but for those that are joining, it's been a little bit of a pride issue for me. I don't want to get money from people. I don't want to but so many people ask, and there's so much of the body of Christ, the way it operates. And there's so much scripture behind this, but just to give and to love on people and to help those that are in need and just all that. And if you're doing it on one end and you're closing yourself off on the other end, in some sense, there's a little bit of negligence there, right? If blood is pumping through your body and the heart is sending it, and then you're a finger and you're just I don't want this blood, get it out of my and you chop it off. It's kind of you're not allowing the things to cycle. And I come from a double major in economics, one of my majors, and this idea that when you inject money in a certain geography, it just amplifies and it just goes and goes and goes, and it makes it that much more money. So that's why this injection here will then do more later on. So hopefully and you can check out the link, givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt for more details. But the hope is that as I invest in myself and this ministry and just this whole thing, and also into my employees, into the business, my move, my livelihood of just transitioning to Korea, there might be a lot more things happening there. But to the degree that the digital ministry, if you want to call it that, my online presence, it won't change in the sense of the frequency of uploads and all that. There'll be times where it's going to be less posts. I did that because when I was in Korea a few weeks ago, finalizing stuff, I just couldn't post. So that was tough, running around, just getting things organized. And now with the final move coming up this weekend, I will have 2 home bases, by the way. I have family here. I have a permanent address here. I'm a dual citizen, so of Korea, South Korea, and America. So it won't be I'm not. It's not I have a visa problem. And I know there's a lot of again, I'm not gonna get into the political stuff in this channel. I do talk about it in my main channel, but it's not that. I'm not leaving because I'm getting kicked out or something else crazy happening because of the political climate here. But I'm being called, ironically, because I've been here in the U.S. advocating for just a lot of things from the U.S. side. But ironically, I'm leaving at a time for which I thought I would not leave. So I've been called there, and just there's more work there. And I feel there's a lot of work there. If you want to even talk about political stuff, there was a lot of political stuff that needed happening here. But then now, and of course, it's a lot of things are making front page news in Korea, with the president and just various things. And just all of the tension, North, South Korea, if you want to bring that in, China and all that, that I feel I could be positioned there for something. Who knows? Right. So there might be something there that has to be done. But with regards to encouragement and content and just all of what I have, hopefully, a lot of it won't change in some sense. So anyway, thank you guys for joining. I'm going to skim here to see. Sorry, to those that joined the other live, it ended, and now I know. So I think this other live is going to be cut short here in a second. No, Michael, this is not a fan account for the Chris Yoon. Okay, I do have many fan accounts for some reason. There's one on TikTok that just is like was blowing up until I stepped in and started posting my own content. Because the long story is that the encouragement videos, the long videos that I have been posting on YouTube, somebody was reposting on TikTok because I wasn't posting it there. And it just like started taking off. And I was shocked because one day I was doom scrolling, if you want to call it that. And I came upon my own video. I was like, I didn't post this. Come to find out, this guy had like, 30,000 followers and was getting hundreds of thousands of views. And I was like, and he only posted it like months ago, like a month ago, and it was getting all these followers. And I was like, oh my goodness. And I wasn't like angry about it. I was like, that's very strange. Am I at that point? Like, and again, I'm not some big guy on social media, but once you come to a point where there's fan accounts and it's just so many fan accounts, it's like you can't really do anything about it in some sense. But the person reached out to me and said, hey, is it okay if I post this? It was in my hidden like request messages. I didn't even see it. And then searching through it and I like found it and I was like, oh my goodness. So I messaged him and just said some words. It wasn't like stop, but just, I think the person's probably watching, to be honest, but just saying some things. And then I decided through prayer that the very next day I'm just going to start posting my own like account, like a second like account, Chris Yoont Encouragement. And that's what a lot of you guys here for this account are at or watching from. And again, it cut out, and I lost a lot of the viewers. I think people thought I ended the stream. So that account started taking off, like more, like every day I'm getting more followers. There are days where I get like 2,000-3,000 followers a day. It's crazy. And the last 4 videos, I've gotten 500,000 views on some of these videos. So I've overtaken the original guy of just what he was posting in terms of views and all that. And again, it's not about views and all that, but it just goes to show like what I've ignored, and forgive me, Lord, right? It's not that much work, just posting it. So anyway, that's a long story. And it's nice, right? It's nice to like interact with you guys. This is like a casual, like you kind of see a different side of me. Like if we were to have lunch together, this is probably how I would be with you guys. Like, hey, what's going on? And sharing certain things. So anyway, I'm freezing up. Oh no. The Instagram feed for some reason is a little weird. I know somebody on Instagram is commenting it's freezing up. Every time I view it from my like monitor, it like sometimes like it'll freeze a little bit. So okay, so more is coming. Oh no, it's freezing. It's still freezing. Oh no. Okay, well I'm kind of here at the end. And thank you, and may God increase your blessing. I have a lot of encouraging comments. Thank you guys so much, guys. I wish I can reply to all the comments and all of that. There's just so many. One of the things that I hope that one day I can do is to filter and see comments and have somebody, like a team, like vet certain comments and help me to respond to ones that may be more pressing or important or interesting. And again, I don't have the time to do these like so many people ask about one-on-ones and so many other like things like, can you do, like, I'll pay you. And I had a moment last year where during the summer, I did allow that, where I was like, it was controversial. Like, like if you had some money, you can do it. And there were even businesses, organizations that were like, we'll pay you a lot. Like, can we talk? And again, it's not like I have something, like profound to give. It's just a perspective that they wanted to hear from what I thought based on the school of thought and how I like discuss things. So they just wanted to hear that from a consulting point of view. But I did that like a one-on-one, but it's not really me, guys. It's tough for me. It's a lot of energy and just a lot of different things. So I'm trying to like discern how to go about this in the future as I streamline, operations, if you want to call it that, while continuing to post content and just be as much value as possible and as much encouraging as possible. So, all right. So yeah, no, I'm not in Korea yet, guys. I'm still in my place. I'm in Chicago, by the way, so I know people already know that. So I'll be moving to Korea, Seoul. So there's a lot of contacts I have in Seoul too, some close, some far, and a lot of family there as well. So more to come from that perspective. But I won't be people asked about like, are you going to do like current events and news that are specifically Korean and even like Korean discussion and all that stuff. But I probably won't for the growth of this in the English speaking space. It's just like going to be better, I think, and just covering global news and global things, US based things. So, yeah, we'll see. We'll see. Um, Otherwise, I'm going to probably cut it here. And thank you guys so much. I have been streaming. Hello, Rue. I've been streaming across two TikTok accounts, two YouTube channels, and one Instagram account. So I've just been monitoring all the chats. I know some accounts have a very small number of viewers. Other ones like this YouTube and some other ones have a little bit more. But the lives don't do as well, guys. Like it's just how it is with every creator. Like you have million follower like creators, they get like 30 people in their lives, or like 100 people in their lives. That's just kind of how it is. But why don't they at least do this for those that are interacting and seeing? And again, I'm sorry that I didn't like respond to every single comment, but let me do this. Actually, I forgot about this. I did this yesterday. Let me go and read the comments where people have maybe given. Let's see. Let's see if I can do that. And some of them have already passed. So I don't know if I can. Okay. Tay69. Oh, and I'll also read some of the latest ones. Okay, I'll read some of the latest comments. Thank you, Chris. Stay blessed. State of the art says. Thank you. I'll also read some of the comments from the page. So I'll do that too. So let me go here. Let me go into the page. I wanted to make it a point that I would be able to at least do that. Oh, there was going to be an echo there. I just clicked into it. Okay, so let me go here first and see what's going on. I know people give in the chat. It happens on TikTok. It happens on YouTube. And thank you for that. But I think money, if you're going to give like $10, $20, YouTube takes a cut of it. TikTok takes like half of it. So it would be a little better if it was done through the Give, Send, Go. But I also understand. Yeah, they take like 40% or something. I think YouTube does. I mean, I don't know. Maybe 30%. I don't know. 30, 40 or some crazy amount. To me, it's a crazy amount. But I see the value and the ease of it because, I mean, who's going to click off screen like during a live and try to do all that? So, okay, let me go to this. Okay, so let me do this and let me go into, let's see. Okay, let me go here. Let me see if I missed anything. Open panel for live. I don't think I can go back further. The older chat. Is that crazy? Yeah, I can't go back to the older chat for some reason. Okay. So let me go here and just like read some of the comments. Let me see if I can go directly to the site. Give, Send, Go. Okay, so let's do this. I will read. Oh my goodness, that's crazy. It went up some amount. Thank you, Lord, and thank you guys. This is crazy. So, should I share screen? Okay, maybe that's better. Or I can just read it. I wanted to make it a point. People have been telling me, like friends, everybody, like you gotta read some of the comments for people that at minimum are supporting you, so that it's not like I'm ignoring that. So. Okay, let me do this. Let me go and switch this. Okay, is this gonna work? Let's see. Boom. Nope, not that one. This one. Oops. Let me move it here. This is the page. And I want to read some of these comments. So this is givesendgo.com/chrisyoonyt. I'm doing a 4-day sort of live fundraiser. I want to thank a lot of people. This is for, and again, you can kind of read the details of it, supporting me, my team, and it's basically just once in a blue moon, like kind of thing, to kind of ask for the donations. My other main site is down, so that's also partly why I'm doing this, because people have been asking, like it's been down for like a month. Like the PayPal was up and Zelle and all that was up, but the main donor box was down, so people were concerned about that. So Hallie says, I pray that God blesses you in the new chapter of your life. Thank you so much. Judy, best wishes, an anonymous giver. Another anonymous giver, Matthew 4, 4. God bless you, brother. Encouragement to stay on the path. God is bigger than this. Thank you so much. Many just hearts, prayers for you, Chris. Love you. Heart, 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 love you. Thank you, Pam. Pam, you've been here for a while. I just want to call you out and just say thank you for the support. Thank you for, being there. So if you're watching, thank you or thank you is what the person is, I guess. Anonymous giver, Barbara, you've been encouraging to me, and I pray God does so much through you and your employees in South Korea. Pam again? Pam, thank you. I've been watching your content, and it's a rewarding and enjoyable feeling I get listening to your messages. God bless you, brother. I pray that your move is successful with no issues. You will, in the name of Jesus, reach your goal. Keep letting the Holy Spirit lead you in all things, in all ways, brother. Appreciate your content, and I believe First Timothy 5:18. Your videos always gave me confirmation, encouragement in miraculous ways. I couldn't believe how much God has gently spoken to me through you. This is all that I could afford right now, but and thank you. But right now, but I cannot help but be led to give. And how God is working through all of us believers to help you right now. Be encouraged and stay blessed. God bless you, Chris. 제가 한국어를 배우고 있어요. 근데 요즘은 이것 버렸어요. 잊어버렸어요. 오케이, thank you. 감사합니다. 혹시 한국 분들이 몇 명 있나요? 아마 있을 것 같은데. 저 이제 한국말로 하는 것도 좀 고민하고 있는데. 아무튼 I watch your TikToks. Thanks for the encouraging messages. Praying for you. Okay, let me go back to some of the comments. Yes. Matthew 8:18. Good stuff. Yes, thank you. Thank you to some of the core supporters, guys. I know I've seen many of you guys, throughout the years. So very encouraged and thankful for that. Okay, so praying for you, chrisyoonyt team. God bless you and keep you. Thanks for the encouragement over this year. Chris, safe travels to Korea, and I pray everything goes well for you. I think I've read some of these before, maybe. Okay, happy to bless you. You've been a great addition to my YouTube subscriptions. I listen to you weekly and have shared your videos with a few close people in my circle. Happy to bless you. You've been a great addition to my YouTube subscriptions. I listen to you weekly and have shared your videos with a few close people in my circle. All the best to you, Chris, in your future endeavors. Jeremiah 29:11. Congrats on your faith move. Excited to see what's to come. Chris, enjoy the content. Wish I could do more. Believe in you, Chris. God bless. 새해 복 많이 받으세요. 네, 감사합니다. So 새해 복 많이 받으세요. That's so right now this week in Korea it's 설. So it's like a lunar New Year type thing, and basically just people go and it's like New Year basically, and there's a lot of festivals and things like that. But you got to be careful with some of the stuff like char and like bowing and stuff like that. Kind of iffy on that side as a Christian. So Jesus is Lord and King. I'm blessed by your messages, supporting and praying from Toronto, Canada. 기도로 함께 하겠습니다. Thank you. So we'll pray together, praying together. That's what it means. May God bless you with the tool you need tool you need on your journey. Actually, is this legible? Let me just look at this. Oh my goodness, maybe it's not legible. Let me do something. You know what? I gotta get more used to like doing some of these things. So let me do it like this. Yeah, there we go. Oh no. Okay. Yep, there we go. How's that? A little better, right? Especially on the, here we go. Let's try this. Yep, okay. Oh, this is live adjustment. So I'm on TikTok and Instagram, live adjusting this view, and I need to get like more used to this. So okay, so that's good. Praying for you and your journey, spreading the word of God and His love. Keep moving forward. You got this. Praying for you and your journey. Keep spreading the word of God, or your journey, spreading the word of God and His love. Keep moving forward. You got this. Thank you. Thank you so much. Praise the Lord. Okay, where's not more? It's loading. Okay, or that might be the beginning, possibly. Okay, good stuff. Thank you so much, guys. This has been crazy. Actually, I think a few more came in. Yep. May you have a smooth transition to Korea. Chris, it's not much, but if we all put our weight into it and reach the goal, God bless. God bless you as you head to Korea. I pray that God blesses you in the new chapter of your life. Okay, wait, actually, I think I did that. Yep, Perry, I did that. Or, yeah, Haley Perry, I did that. Okay, thank you guys so much. And again, if you guys want to take time off live after this, feel free. I have like multiple methods here above, but I'm going to end it here. We are hosting some people from, oh man, I shouldn't say it too much, but some missionaries and some stuff happening. There's a lot of stuff that happens locally around me that is just crazy. So I'm going to say hi to some of our guests in the house and just make sure that they're accounted for. I think they came from Africa, I think. So I haven't met them, so we're going to go and just see what that's about. And then tomorrow morning I'll be on. So we'll see how this goes. I'm literally just throwing out multi-day lives just to see what sticks and how it works. But yes, I treasure forever. Hi. So I know a lot of people are coming from different platforms, but there's just so much across all the platforms. The platforms on TikTok are not as good with the lives just yet because I don't think it's the algorithm is pushing it out, and nor does everybody have their notifications on. So it's just a matter of randomness, like when it comes. So that's why it's not as big, and people just want short, like quick, succinct stuff. So again, thank you guys for joining this live, and the live just really is a happenstance of like time and if people come. But tomorrow morning I will do another one. I'm hoping 9 a.m. latest 10. This morning I couldn't do it because I was just going through technical issue after technical issue. I finally got it fixed, and now it's good. So hopefully we will be good. And then I'll try to engage and take more questions, or I can read through it and just kind of like pick and choose. So love you guys. Thank you so much. I'm going to end this live here now, and it might be like 30 seconds to a minute of me closing down some of these and some noise in the background. So thank you.